It is episode 21. This is a prelude because we experienced some pretty intense audio issues on this one. Chris has a interesting audio cut off on some of the words there, which is making it sound like he's just been to the dentist. Anyway, enjoy the recording, even if it does get a little soft at times. Just turn up the volume and enjoy. Welcome back, folks, to the Pat and Play podcast. It's great to be back on the pods. We got Chris, we got Vaughn. Welcome back, guys. How are we doing?
It's good to be here after a victorious weekend.
Yeah, it's a feeling I missed and I forgot about for a while.
We got two Liverpool fans on the podcast. The other folks, they're enjoying their Monday off. No Chelsea fans today, unfortunately. I was kind of looking forward to having a bit of a debate, the Arsenal-Chelsea game, but it's fine. I can pretend to be both sides and then ensure that the Arsenal fan wins. Let's jump straight into it today. Let's do stocks rising first. Let's do stocks falling first, because I think it might be easier actually to come up with some stocks falling this week. I'll kick it off because I don't want you guys to take my stocks falling.
Oh, it's going to be all 3 of ours, isn't it?
For me, it's Spurs. I don't know. I was kind of bullish on Spurs. You heard me, Vaughn, at the beginning of the season on some of my podcasts. I was backing Thomas Frank. I was backing the signings that they'd made. I felt that they were a club that if you put the variables on the table, you're like, new stadium, London-based, has been in Europe regularly for the last few years, made young signings, and then got in a manager who, in Thomas Frank, is a young tactician. Like, it all lined up for something pretty smart and possibly explosive as well. And instead, it's really insipid and boring. So, yeah, for me, stock falling is Spurs. And why didn't you lead us into your stock falling?
I actually really like your stock falling because I did have them as an option if my first one was taken, especially because I heard rumors that Thomas Frank has lost the change room. So I don't know what's going on there, but apparently he's lost the change room and that's why things are slowly falling apart. So we wait to see if that's true or not. But my main stock's falling is Paqueta. If you guys watch that game and you watch the double yellow card and red card, when you are rifled with rumors of match fixing and betting, and especially with cards against your name for your family back home, and you perform like that, and that's how you get your red card, because literally watching him berate the referee for the first yellow and then the second yellow, and then just before he walked down the tunnel, he had a slight smile to him, like a smirk. And I don't know if it's just like, oh, I can't believe this has happened, or it was what it is. And then to come up with the explanation and the excuse that he did over social media, where you're playing victim when your opposition players are pulling you away and telling you to calm down. And I think Curtis's response to the red card, where Curtis was also like, dude, what are you doing? And your own players aren't standing up for you because they know that this is going to happen. Yeah, my stocks are falling in you, bro.
Do you think you made a bit of money off that?
I'm doing very naughty. That are watching YouTube and not listening on audio.
Don't get us sued here, guys. Yeah, it's definitely the open question, right? Some very clear and potentially irrational stupidity on display, I think is fair to say. Chris, what are you saying for your weekend? Stocks falling?
One that makes me very happy, which is Jordan Pickford. He had absolute stinker again. I would say of the 4 goals he conceded, like what one kind of went through his leg somehow. He almost like dived over it. The other one kind of went through his arm. 3 were easy saves in my opinion, and he let them all through. So well done, Jordan Pickford. He's a bit of a clown. I've never liked him. So his demise makes me truly happy.
I didn't see that one coming, to be honest with you, but I do like calling out a goalkeeper, keeping it fresh. Any other honourable mentions for anyone who almost made a stock falling for you but didn't quite make the cut? I don't have anyone on my side.
I think it's just a little bit of a repetition, though, but Wolves, guys, like
Yeah, that's a bit bad.
Wolves.
But I can't see them turning it around.
They're done.
I think I've got to agree with you on Spurs. They're just not looking the part. Yeah, and I'm still, the jury's out on our beloved manager. I'm not sure he's getting it right, even though we won.
Yeah.
Are you on the spots out bandwagon there?
I'm not necessarily on the bandwagon of on it's not out. I'm just like, I don't like. He finally played Joe Gomez at right back, but I think we'll probably discuss this. And then the difference it made was tangible. But he looks like he's lost confidence in himself. The players don't look like they've got a definitive plan. They just seem to be going out there and it's like, go out there and play, guys. You know what you're doing. Just nobody seems to be putting in like 100% every single game. So I worry about him. I don't see Liverpool doing anything. Even though we won 2-0, it wasn't like we dominated. The attack just looked like they didn't have too many ideas. I'm glad he's got a goal, but there's some sort of spark that we had for the last 9 years that's missing now.
Out of interest, Von, is Liverpool your stocks rising?
No, I kind of struggled to come up with the stocks rising this week, to be honest, because I don't necessarily think Liverpool deserve to be in a stocks rising. Because yes, I'm happy that we won, and 2 goals and not conceding a clean sheet is great, and there's a bunch of positives that I can take out of that game. But at the same time, like Chris, I don't know if we won that game because we played well or if West Ham just played really, really bad. So I actually really struggled to come up with the stocks rising. And the closest thing I could get to was Harry Wilson and the brilliant goal that he scored. So maybe it's got a little bit of a Liverpool kick to it. I don't know. But I just think that it was a stunning goal. But that's basically it. Also, I didn't really watch a lot of football on Saturday. And there was nothing really on Sunday that I saw that warranted a stocks rising for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Harry Wilson. Decent player.
Magic foot.
I like how he's found his footing outside of the top 4, top 6 clubs, you know. Sometimes a player leaves a top club when they're a squad player and then they sort of land in the Premier League and then it doesn't stick and then they start rolling and then you see them randomly at some championship club and then a couple of years later you find out Rob Holding is like playing for Crewe Alexander or something like that and you're like, what? How did they end up there? But yeah, he's definitely playing the part of it.
And he steps up for his country as well. Like he really performs and plays for his country. So I think he's grown into a really, really decent footballer, like quality.
Yeah, Wales rely on him 100%.
Yeah.
Chris, what's your stocks rising this week? Which player or team do you really feel shone?
As much as my stock falling made me happy, my stocks rising made me a little bit sad because it would be Phil Foden.
Yeah, I hear that.
Seems to be finding form again. He finally stopped with a Dumb and Dumber haircut, and he scored 2, both good goals, I would say. One was a really, really nice finish. Another one was one of those where he kind of runs along and then strikes some distance. And he was doing it a lot a couple of seasons ago, and I think he's finally finding his form again. He's a really talented dude, as much as I hate that he plays for City.
Yeah. Yeah, Phil Foden was my captain for FPL this week, which surprised myself. Yeah, I was running out of options, to be honest with you. With my no Salah, no Haaland play this season, there aren't actually many other strikers who are doing a good job this season. There were a few who started well, but like João Pedro, Isak, Ekitike, Gyökeres, Delap, a lot of the strikers in the big teams are, even Voltemade went off the boil a bit. So it's been difficult to find anyone who's going to get reliable points. And even Saka, Mr. Reliable, has only had maybe an assist and a goal every now and then, but not not on the levels that you can just back him. So anyway, I put my faith in Phil Foden just to try make up some points. And funnily enough, I actually fell down places in the no Haaland, no Salah league, which is so funny because I made up 1 million places overall, but I'm still losing one league that I'm trying to compete in. Anyway.
What about Igor Thiago Igor Thiago, right? From Brentford. He scored a brace over the weekend, and he seems to be biting his goals quite nicely.
You're right. He's my pick to replace Perez in my squad slot. But Arsenal play Brentford next. So I'm just wondering if I should delay 1 week. But then saying that, Igor Thiago will then score twice against Arsenal, and I'll be gutted in two different
things we love to see.
Hey.
Things we love to see.
Do not.
I mean, let's be honest. Arsenal's not going to start playing badly until January, and then it's all downhill.
Maybe after Feb, like after Valentine's Day, when they start. They really,
no, but I mean,
jokes
aside, do you think they're going to keep this going, like staying in Europe and playing exceptionally well in Europe? Like, even do you think they looked a little bit tired against Chelsea?
It did, yeah, definitely looked like they'd played Bayern a few days before and had ran their socks off. Yeah, I don't think Arsenal's form is going to drop off a cliff anytime soon, but I do think that the test is on the table. Big Gabriel and Saliba are both injured now, and they're saying that. And Arsenal don't really give injury updates anymore, so you have to sort of piece it together like it's the Da Vinci Code. It looks like those two are out for at least sort of 4 weeks, potentially, that we won't have that partnership back.
It wasn't so bad, though.
It wasn't supposed to be, no. And initial sort of thoughts were he'd be out for 1 game, but now there's sort of whispers that it'll be, 3 weeks, and then Gabriel is definitely 4. Now, Mosquera and Hincapié played well individually, Hincapié against Spurs and then Christian Mosquera against Bayern. When they played both together against Chelsea, though, I felt like you could see that in the games before they'd been playing with Saliba. I don't know, guys. Jude said on the other podcast that I'm a pessimist, or was it Sal, around Arsenal, that I downplay how well they're playing, but I don't think you can ignore losing your 2 best centre-backs. And I think any team in the world, if you think about your 2 centre-backs and go, yeah, let's play the most active period in the English calendar without them, I don't think anyone would be happy with that. So yeah, we'll see. As Pep said, you don't win or lose anything in November, but I do think you can lose it in December if you lose 4 or 5 games quickly. Let's see on that one. My stock's rising, though, is not actually Arsenal related. It's the opponents. My stock rising is Chelsea this week, and I hate to say it. Everyone knows, or anyone knows me knows I'm not a very big Chelsea fan, but I've got to give them props for how they played yesterday. I think that when you go down to 10 men against a club like Arsenal or a City or a Liverpool, it should be a very long day, and it should feel like a long day, and you shouldn't walk out of that game feeling like you deserved a draw. I felt like they deserved the draw. I thought a point was a fair result, and I'm disappointed with Arsenal that Chelsea managed to restrict us so much, even when they did have 1 player down. That tells me the coaching is really good. That tells me their positioning is really, really quality. And Chelsea, I don't know, in summary for me, Chelsea look a lot to me like how Arsenal looked 2 years ago in the project timeline. And what I mean by that is young players, immensely talented, clearly a coach who's young and has some thoughtfulness around tactics and positioning, well drilled. Everyone seems bought in, but they seem young and emotional and overly a little intense about every action. And that's how we were a few years ago. And I think that will breed inconsistency in the games where you can't get that fire, like against Fulham away from home in April 10th when the sun is shining and you want to be in a beer garden. Teams that are fueled by emotion like that sometimes come undone, and Arsenal know that feeling. So for me, they are going to be a threat. I think they are going to help decide where the title ends up. I think the games against Chelsea will decide where the title ends up, but I don't think they're going to end up fighting right to the death with Arsenal. I don't think that's going to end up happening. I think City will end up being the primary contender for the throne. But yeah, and the other one I was going to say quickly was Isak. If I was going to go with a player, I just think when your stocks fall week on week on week, and we sit on this podcast going, Isak, he's not even playing. He's on the bench. He doesn't have a goal. And then he scores. I have to recognize that. I have to say, okay, my stock's falling. My stock's falling, going on a downward slide. Have to stop. Maybe he scores again. And then the narrative starts to shift immediately. Once you score one goal, things can change quickly. So that's my stocks rising. Any other shout outs for a stocks rising before we move on to predictions? Anything else from the game week you want to point out?
Villa did really well despite playing during the week. I think I think they won 1-0. Yeah, so I mean these teams, I think Villa might be a little bit more used to it because they also played last season in Europe as well during the week. Like, you can see the difference with Crystal Palace as well. They just run out of legs because they're not used to playing on a Thursday night alone is difficult. And they're going into the weekend. I don't know what it is, but if you play on a Wednesday and you play on a Saturday, it just seems better than playing on a Thursday and playing on a Sunday. Even though it's the same amount of time in between, I just feel like playing on a Thursday and playing on a Sunday is much harder than playing on a Wednesday and playing on a Saturday. So yeah, shout out to them. I do not like what they're doing with Harvey Elliott, so I minus points for that, because don't take the player if you don't want to play him, just leave him alone. But yeah, they won. So maybe shout out to that.
Yeah. Any other shout outs for you, Chris, for the weekend, or shall we move on to predictions?
Yeah, let's move on.
Alrighty. So a couple games to call out. I suppose City have been in up and down form. They play Fulham, and Fulham have been quietly improving their results. I think they're a pretty solid team to play, and I don't think people have too much fun going to Fulham, where I think Fulham are quite happy to sit back and play as if they're the away team and then catch you on the counter, and they do play pretty well on the counter. That said, I'm going with a City win. Von, what are you saying? City win as well?
I'm also saying a City win, but I also feel like Fulham are on the bad end on a lot of VAR and referee calls, and City's generally on the good end of those. So generally, I felt really sorry for Fulham a few weeks ago, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast as well, where just every call went against them, and it was clear and obvious that it shouldn't have gone against them, and I feel like that trend is continuing. And despite that, they've gained confidence and they've remained consistent, and like you said, they are coming up. So despite that, like, as much as I would love Fulham to take a point at least, I do think City are going to go as all three.
I think Fulham might sneak one there. Like, City's defense is looking very shaky at the moment. In that league game, I mean, it was that they didn't look cohesive. Calvert-Lewin, they practically gifted him that one goal. They're not looking like a pep defense, which is weird. So I think if there's a chance that Fulham, especially going at home, might sneak a draw. You didn't watch on Saturday, but it was 2-2, and then 30 minutes to get one in time added on. And that was Leeds at home.
And it was plus 10 minutes as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was the 91st minute that they scored. But that was at home for City. So now if they're away at Craven Cottage, then I think Fulham might surprise us. I can't see Fulham winning, but I think they might sneak a draw. I can see like a 2-2 or a 3-3 or whatever.
Interesting fact about Craven Cottage, it's actually the shortest pitch in the Premier League. So lengthwise.
Or how you play on it.
So there's a minimum or there's a range that your pitch has to be, length and width. And Craven Cottage, also because of its history and stuff like that, is actually the smallest pitch in the Premier League. So it makes teams like City or the bigger teams that have newer stadiums that have bigger pitches, they struggle because they're not used to the distances.
Makes sense. And it's a cottage, which is small.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the oldest stadiums in the Premier League as well. It's one of the most beautiful stadiums.
Do love
First Premier League game I went to go watch was
Wow.
Lovely. I love the old grandstand style, 4 stands facing each other, North Bank, South Bank, East Bank, West Bank, before you get them all renamed one by one through club legends. Enjoy that model because every single stadium I feel now looks exactly the same, which is all these sort of bold designs, and they go up and down like the Emirates, like Tottenham Hotspur, like the Allianz Arena, like the new Nou Camp. Yeah, anyway. Shame. Listen to us sounding all nostalgic for stadium designs. Probably the game of the weekend next, if it sort of goes off, would be Newcastle versus Spurs at St. James's Park. I can see that being a fun game if Spurs turn up. Both teams that I think is fair to say they haven't really had the seasons that they were hoping. I'm going to go with a Newcastle win. I think they're just entering a bit of form. I like Harvey Barnes, and when Harvey Barnes plays, he's a streaky player. He'll have 6-7 games, become a FPL favorite, and then disappear for a year and then come back and do the same thing. So I'm going Newcastle. Chris, what are you saying? Newcastle Spurs?
I'm with you on Newcastle. I think they've got a couple of big guys that seem to be popping up and causing havoc in the air. With them, Burns did great things against Everton. I think they're going to do the same now. Although their home ground also seems to pep them up a little bit extra. So yeah, I can't see Spurs taking anything away from there.
Same for you, Von?
Yeah. I want to be controversial and be like, because Spurs are so inconsistent, you never really know. But at the same time, so part of me wants to be like, yes, Spurs are going to take it just because they can be that inconsistent. But their away form is terrible. I think their away form puts them in the relegation zone if you just take their away games. So with it being at Newcastle and Newcastle gaining a bit of consistency again and going on a bit of a run, I'm going to have to say Newcastle.
City and Newcastle on the bet slip so far. Then third game is Arsenal-Brentford at the Emirates. I'm going with an Arsenal win, and I'm going with a relatively boring 2-0 win. Yeah, I think it's going to be relatively comfortable after the first goal goes in. Von, thoughts on that game?
I'm going for a draw because I think Kevin Kelleher is great with set pieces. Oh, and I'm hoping Noah is just going to do a little things there, my captain.
Chris, what are you saying?
I'm agreeing with Von. I put it in my Super Brew today as a 2-2 draw. But maybe Kelleher keeps a complete clean sheet and then...
Yeah.
But yeah, because as you said, your defense isn't great. They're good enough, but I mean, they're in a bad space. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Brentford pull off a bit of a shot there.
Okay. After that, Leeds, Chelsea. This is at Leeds.
Gonna be Chelsea.
Slam dunk. Chelsea. Yeah.
I'm going to give it Leeds.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
I think Leeds are going to take confidence out of the City game. And this week is really important for them because I think their manager's under a lot of pressure. So I think if they win during the week and then lose the weekend, hint, hint, it might save his job. So I am going to say that he's going to win during the weekend and then lose the weekend and then save his job instead of it the other way around.
Wow. Leeds have been so bad. That would be such a shock result. But the Premier League's like that. I do like you going counter-narrative a bit there, Von. Doubt you're going counter-narrative on the next one. Liverpool versus Sunderland. Von, what do you say?
I'm going to say Liverpool 3-1, probably. The only reason I'm rating Sunderland is because they've been on such great form. And Granit Xhaka, guys, I rate him. But yeah, I think we'll take some confidence out of the West Ham game. And yeah, things worked out a little bit better this weekend. And I know Sal's going to come with me and say that it's because we dropped Salah. No, it's because we played Joe Gomez, guys. It's got nothing to do with Salah. But Flo is finding his feet. And I like the fact that he's gained a bit of weight. I remember I said that he was a little bit scrawny. He needs to put on some muscle. I think he's put on almost 4 kgs of muscle, and you can see it. It's around his back, and he's a little bit sturdier. So, yeah, I'm giving it to Liverpool.
Okay. Chris, same answer?
And same reasoning. Although I would say that everyone's talking about dropping Salah. If anything, our attack looked a little bit pedestrian against West Ham. I mean, Isak got a nice goal. Hopefully that launches his confidence into orbit. If him and Wirtz can make some sort of a partnership there, because I think Wirtz has been oftentimes putting in through balls and whatever that people haven't been reading, and he gets sick for it. But I think he's actually been a really good player. I just don't think he's had that sort of, what would you call it, that thing where you bond with the guy and you kind of like Salah, Bobby. And I think if Salah comes on and he does Salah things, then with Isak, that spots in the box in the middle, they'll be doing fantastic things. But I'm definitely happier that we've got an actual right back in Joe Gomez rather than taking our best midfielder and putting him on the right back.
Yeah.
And I'd feel even better if Andy Robertson started at left back.
Agreed. And I also think the entire performance of our strikers, right? So Isak included, Salah especially, they play a different game if someone like Trent is there because of the deliveries. So
Yeah.
Isak is a pure striker. He's not a centre forward, he's a striker. He waits for the ball to be delivered and he's a finisher. That's it. He doesn't go chasing for the balls like Lucho did, like Darwin did, that sort of thing. And it kind of irritates me because I feel like he's a little bit lazy because he's not fighting for the balls. But if you have someone like Trent who's going to deliver the balls in, he's going to score. So Joe can do that. Joe will run and deliver the balls in. He has the long throws. He has the crosses in. He makes the forward runs, which is why I think it's easier for him to fit into that squad. Whereas if you're playing someone like Jeremy or even Dom in that position, they're not going to make those runs. They're not going to make the crosses in. So I think that's why Joe fits it a little bit better right now. Connor, yes, when Connor's fit.
Let's see how that one plays out. I think it's going to end up being a rotating cast until it settles for a while. Last one then, United West Ham. For me, despite how up and down United are, I think West Ham are really poor this season. And with Paqueta banned, it will be even worse. So United for me. What about you guys?
Agreed.
Yeah,
I think they're gaining confidence in the fact that they could come back from a goal down against Palace. Even though it was a penalty that had to be taken twice, I think they're playing really well. I think they're matching and they're gaining and it's clicking for them.
Yeah, and the way West Ham were on Sunday, they're not going to.
Awful.
Yeah, I think that they relied too much on Bowen. Everyone else didn't seem into it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that brings us to conclusion on the predictions. And those are the big games anyway, or the games involving the big six. There's quite a few pretty boring, mediocre games this weekend, if I'm honest, outside of those ones. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you, Vaughn, for joining for this quick roundup of the weekend's action. The football continues with the midweek action we just previewed, and we'll be back on Friday morning to have a look at what happened in the middle of the week and have a look at the weekend's action. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. We appreciate every download, every listen, every share of the posts on our social media accounts. So thank you, legends, for tuning in as always. Ciao for now.
Bye.